Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we take stacks of information and sources and give you the direct route to being thoroughly and strategically informed. Today, we are laser focused on one of the most common, yet strategically overlooked interactions of any journey: checking into a hotel.
It really is, isn't it? It seems so mundane, universal experience. But that first interaction at the reception desk is such a crucial communication event.
Right.
The quality of that exchange can genuinely define the smoothness and even sometimes the luxury of your entire trip.
So we're not just talking about how to get your key card and find the elevator.
Not at all. We are dissecting the essential vocabulary, the communication etiquette, and the strategic preparation that can save you frustration, bypass confusion, and most excitingly, maximize the perks you receive.
Okay, let's unpack this because our mission today is ambitious. We want to dive deep into the specific language, the specific strategies that can enhance your stay. We want you, the traveler, to approach that reception desk with the confidence of an insider. We are, aiming for a kind of linguistic mastery here.
That's the goal.
To feel completely empowered when you're speaking with the staff.
That is absolutely the goal. Understanding the underlying vocabulary and the operational processes of the hotel is your definitive shortcut to feeling well-informed.
Right.
When you know the terms, you eliminate that moment of travel panic where language or perhaps the unexpected bureaucracy of a foreign system suddenly becomes this huge barrier to actually enjoying your trip.
And we absolutely have to begin with the ultimate fantasy scenario, the highest possible reward for mastering this system.
Oh, yes.
The source material paints this incredible picture of a traveler, a man named Anthony Roberts. He had reserved a perfectly standard room, walked up to the desk.
Just normal booking.
A totally normal booking. And due to an unforeseen circumstance, he was informed of a mix-up and then handed a key card to the presidential suite.
I mean, can you imagine? That anecdote just perfectly illustrates the highest possible payoff. It's the kind of spontaneous, huge upgrade that travelers dream about.
Of course.
And that potential that a system failure or, a logistical success could lead to being treated like royalty is precisely why mastering this dialogue and understanding the system's operational mechanisms matters so profoundly.
It's the jackpot.
It is. It shows the incredible payoff that can result from a strategically navigated interaction.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into the core mechanics of that interaction. We need to decode the check-in dialogue itself, starting with the absolute foundational phrase, the linguistic bedrock upon which the entire transaction rests.
Right. So the entire check-in exchange hinges on the receptionist quickly and accurately confirming two things: your identity and the hotel's expectation of your arrival.
Who are you and are we expecting you?
That's it. They need to know who you are and that they have a room prepared under your name.
That brings us to our first and most crucial phrase. I have a reservation under the name. This may seem trivially simple, but it is the formalized statement that establishes your presence and kicks off the validation process in their system.
It's so much more than just stating your name. It's the formal confirmation that initiates the search in what they call the property management system.
Right.
This one phrase ensures the hotel knows definitively you are the person that they have been expecting. Without this precise confirmation, the whole process,
It just stops.
it just grinds to a confusing and time-consuming halt. Assigning a room, charging incidentals, handing over the key, none of it happens.
And the material gives us really useful variations that show the flexibility required in real-world scenarios. Take the first example. My secretary made a reservation under my name.
That's a great one.
This is an excellent quick way to proactively explain any potential discrepancy, especially if the booking email was sent to someone else or if you're traveling on a company account.
It immediately clarifies the logistics of the booking authority. And that clarity is invaluable to the front desk staff. It saves them so many follow-up questions.
And then, of course, you have the other side of it, the critical negative response examples, like the stressful but necessary phrase, "I'm sorry, sir, I don't have a reservation under that name."
And that's where the tension begins, right?
Totally.
But knowing that this phrase is the precise problem statement allows you, the guest, to switch immediately into troubleshooting mode. It means the system doesn't recognize you.
So you don't panic?
You don't panic, you pivot. You instantly offer the confirmation number, the booking site reference, or maybe the company name it was booked under.
And sometimes the issue is simpler. We see the receptionist confirming with, "Do you have a reservation under the name Smith?"
Yeah, that shows they might have a variation in spelling or they're just checking a different letter of the alphabet because of a typo.
So that simple structure, under the name, is universal for establishing booking identity in any hospitality context. A hotel, a car rental.
Even collecting a ticket for a show. It's the linguistic bedrock of the transaction. Once that's established, the conversation usually moves forward smoothly. But moving on from that, we often encounter the very scenario that led to our friend Anthony Roberts getting his presidential suite. Something went wrong.
Yes, the problem word that doesn't feel like an accusation, mix-up. How do we define this for someone who needs to use it confidently, in a formal setting?
Right. We define mix-up simply as a confusion or a misunderstanding that resulted in an error. And it is so vital because it's a linguistically non-aggressive, neutral way to describe a clerical error, a logistical fault, a communication failure.
And crucially, using mix-up externalizes the blame from any specific individual.
Exactly. It's the system that had the confusion, not you messed up.
What's fascinating here is how the sources ensure the definition of mix-up sticks in your memory. They use these dramatic, almost comedic, extreme examples.
Oh, they're great.
If you ever forget what a mix-up is, just remember the high-stakes consequences. There was a mix-up at the airport, and my bags were sent to Antarctica.
I mean, that is certainly an unforgettable consequence of a system's failure.
It really is.
And then there's the even more dramatic, maybe funny, but also terrible mix-up where they have given you the wrong baby.
Right. These examples, as wild as they are, they anchor the definition firmly. A mix-up is a serious, consequential error resulting from confusion no matter the scale. But let's bring it back to the strategic traveler. That jump from bags in Antarctica to a hotel room is critical. A listener might ask, what does a mix-up practically look like at the front desk?
That's an excellent question, and this is where the deep dive comes in. In a hotel context, a mix-up usually involves an internal logistical fault. It could be a double booking error, a system glitch that assigned two different guests to the same room.
I've had that happen. It's awkward.
Very awkward. Or it could be a failure to flag a critical requested feature like a non-smoking room being assigned on a smoking floor, or vice versa.
So with Mr. Roberts, he was expecting his standard room, but the desk had to inform him that there seems to be a mix-up.
Exactly. The mix-up wasn't his fault. It was an internal logistical issue that required immediate rectification on their part.
So if a mix-up is the resulting problem, that internal logistical issue is usually caused by the next key concept we need to understand. This is the root cause of that unexpected, glorious upgrade.
Exactly. Overbooked. This term is often misunderstood as simply full. We need to clarify the specifics because being overbooked directly dictates the legal and financial solution the hotel is compelled to offer.
So overbooked doesn't just mean full, it means more than full.
Precisely. It's a common practice. Crucially, it means they have accepted more confirmed non-cancelable reservations than they have physical capacity for a specific room category, or maybe the entire property.
They cannot, therefore, physically accept any more people into the standard room category that you booked. The space literally does not exist.
And what we need to stress is how normal this is. Hotels, just like airlines, rely on sophisticated revenue management software that intentionally overbooks based on historical data.
They're playing the odds.
They're playing the odds. They assume, for instance, that 5% of confirmed guests just won't show up. If fewer people cancel than they projected, they become overbooked.
And the source material stresses this concept is universal. A bus can be overbooked, a train can be overbooked. So when you hear, we are overbooked, whether it's a train, a flight, or a hotel, you know immediately two high-value things.
Okay.
First, you cannot have exactly what you asked for. That's the bad news. Second, and most importantly, the facility is now under a contractual a liability, really, to offer you an alternative solution of equal or greater value.
This is the critical insight. This is the key. It turns the upgrade from a random act of kindness into a strategic, system-driven necessity for the hotel.
You're right.
If they cannot honor your reservation, they are in breach of contract. Their standard operational response to mitigating that breach is to perform an immediate upgrade.
Or, in the worst case, they walk you to another hotel.
Yes, walk you to another comparable property, paying for your transport and sometimes the first night's stay. But an internal upgrade is so much cheaper and better for their customer satisfaction scores.
So, being overbooked is the high-stakes problem that leads us directly to the reward. The beautiful phrase we all hope to hear, complimentary upgrade. What does this definition encompass, and what should the traveler realistically expect?
The definition is simple, but it's really powerful. It signifies receiving a better room, a more expensive room, or a higher class of service completely for free.
So it's not just a slightly better view, it has to be a tangible step up in value.
It must inherently offer a greater value than what you originally paid for. A corner room instead of a standard room, a suite instead of a deluxe.
The why factor, as we established, is primarily driven by overbooking. The hotel's lower-tier standard rooms are full. The hotel needs to move guests, and since it wasn't the guest's fault they can't fulfill the initial booking, the guest is rewarded for the inconvenience and the flexibility of accepting the change.
It's the hotel mitigating its liability. It's a business decision.
And this concept translates powerfully beyond the hotel lobby, which I think broadens the listener's strategic understanding. The material highlights classic airplane examples.
Yes. If you're seated in economy class and the flight is overbooked, they might move you to business or first class for free.
Why do they do that?
Because getting that single economy passenger settled elsewhere prevents a major delay. It eliminates the huge operational headache of finding a willing volunteer to take a later flight, which can cost them hundreds, even thousands of dollars in compensation.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the experience of that complimentary upgrade can be phenomenal. When they discuss moving you to first class on a flight, the dialogue specifically focuses on the perks.
Yes.
We're not just talking about a wider seat, we're talking about a 5-course meal.
Yes, the difference between an economy seat and first class is massive. It's a different world.
Yeah.
You get that dedicated personalized service, you get that multi-course 5-course meal, and you get abundant drinks, often premium beverages.
It's an instant shift from being a standard passenger to being treated, well, like royalty.
All because of an inconvenience that the airline or hotel caused.
I recall a similar situation traveling through India. I had booked a standard second-class train seat, which can be quite chaotic, and because the train itself was unexpectedly overbooked, I think due to a rail closure, I spoke with the station manager, and I received an immediate complimentary upgrade to first class.
Wow.
It was completely unexpected, but the difference in comfort, space, and service just changed that entire leg of the journey.
That is the power of the situation. When you recognize the operational issue overbooking and you approach the staff calmly, seeking a solution, you open yourself up to that possibility.
Exactly.
And I had a similar but completely unprompted upgrade flying from Shanghai to Qatar. I had an economy seat on a long-haul night flight, and at the gate they just handed me a new boarding pass for first class.
No explanation.
None at all. While I suspect it might have been due to maximizing comfort on a less full road rather than strict overbooking, the joy of the surprise and the superior service, the privacy, the food, the ability to lie flat and sleep, it just confirmed the massive tangible benefit of the complimentary upgrade.
And what was the immediate communication difference you noticed between the economy service desk and the first-class interaction? Was the vocabulary or the demeanor immediately different?
That's a great observation. In first class, the language was much less transactional and more service-oriented. Instead of, here is your boarding pass, it was, we're delighted to welcome you to the first-class cabin. How may we assist you with your comfort?
So it's a total shift.
A total shift. It goes from processing a passenger to anticipating a guest's every need. That elevated language immediately reinforces the elevated status.
So when a mix-up happens because the hotel is overbooked, you now have the foundational vocabulary to understand exactly what's happening, why the upgrade is being offered, and how to accept it enthusiastically. But getting to that pivotal moment requires more than just knowing the words. It requires exceptional execution starting well before you even step inside the lobby.
Absolutely. The conversation that leads to a smooth check-in or even a strategic upgrade begins long before you physically reach the desk. A stress-free process is fundamentally rooted in preparation. #A, pre-check-in preparation, saving time and confusion.
We are talking about basic organization here, but for our deep dive audience, we need to frame these steps strategically, not just as common sense. The source material heavily emphasizes having your essential documentation ready.
And by ready, I mean ready. You must have your booking confirmation. Whether it's a printed document or immediately accessible on your phone, have it ready to show.
Not scrolling through your email for 5 minutes.
Please, no. And you need a valid photo ID, a passport or driver's license, and critically, a payment method. A credit or debit card ready, not just for the room charge, but for the security hold or incidentals.
Let's frame the payment method strategically. Why is having that card out and ready so important?
Because having that card ready signals preparedness and, frankly, financial stability. It makes the front desk staff more comfortable. A huge part of their job is securing payment for potential damages or room service.
So you're making their job easier.
You're minimizing friction and showing you're a prepared professional traveler.
Knowing your reservation details is equally critical. You shouldn't rely on the receptionist to dictate everything.
No, you should know your details. Be aware of your confirmed check-in and check-out times, the specific room type you booked, king bed, 2 queens, non-smoking, and any services that were included in your rate, like breakfast or parking.
Knowing these specifics saves so much time if there are any discrepancies. And equally important, it shows the hotel staff that you're an organized traveler who respects the details. And that often subtly translates to a more attentive interaction.
Now, here's the expert-level pre-check-in preparation. This is the pro tip for arrival times that really affects hotel operations.
Okay.
If you are arriving substantially early, or perhaps more commonly on long trips, much later than expected, you must call ahead to inform the hotel.
This simple act of courtesy is a complete game changer.
It really is. And here's the operational detail our audience needs. Why is calling ahead so critical? It's because housekeeping operates on a defined schedule. Rooms are prioritized based on departure times, VIP guest requests, and crucially confirmed early check-in requests.
So if you just show up at 11 in the morning expecting a room when check-in is officially 3 p.m. and you haven't called,
housekeeping won't know to prioritize your room. It's not in their queue.
But if you call ahead and say, I know check-in is at 3, but I'm arriving at 11 and I'd be grateful if my room type could be prioritized for cleaning, what happens?
That small request enters the system. It gets flagged. And it dramatically increases the likelihood that they can accommodate you quickly. It's all about setting realistic expectations and respecting the hotel's operational flow. ###B. Approaching the reception desk.
So once you're organized, documents ready, and you physically arrive, how you approach the reception desk is where psychology meets communication strategy.
Yes. The sources are absolutely clear on this. A friendly, polite demeanor is crucial as it sets the tone for your stay.
If you walk up stressed, demanding, or short-tempered after a long flight, the receptionist will likely mirror that energy.
Or at the very least be less inclined to offer any discretionary help or go above and beyond for a special request.
But let me challenge that. What if I'm extremely tired after a 12-hour flight and I just want to rush the process? Is politeness always worth the effort, even if I feel utterly exhausted? Does the system actually track my demeanor?
That's a fair challenge. The system doesn't have a rudeness score, no. But the staff certainly does. Front desk employees communicate constantly. If you treat one staff member poorly, that information can be subtly relayed verbally or through body language to others.
So it could impact the service you get from the concierge or the bellman?
Or even housekeeping. Maintaining courtesy, even when you're exhausted, is a strategic choice. It keeps the staff in a helpful, solutions-oriented mindset for your entire stay.
Okay, so you start simple.
Start simple. Begin with a genuine greeting, good afternoon or good morning, and immediately use that foundational key phrase we discussed. I have a reservation under my full name.
Then comes the vital step of active listening. As the receptionist confirms your booking details, explains policies, discusses amenities, you have to pay attention.
This is where they'll tell you about the Wi-Fi codes, the amount of the security deposit hold, the breakfast hours, maybe any unannounced resort fees.
If anything is unclear or if you need more detail, never just nod along and hope for the best.
No. The polite inquiry is your most powerful tool. The source gives us these excellent specific examples. Could you explain the Wi-Fi access process, please?
Or, what time is breakfast served and where is the location?
These phrases are courteous, they're clear, and they ensure you get all the necessary information without appearing demanding. Clarity and politeness in these initial exchanges lay the groundwork for a positive relationship with the staff, which becomes invaluable later if you need to troubleshoot an issue or, better yet, request that upgrade.
Now we move from managing the necessity, the basic transaction of check-in, to managing desire. How do we strategically communicate our needs and proactively make requests that improve the quality of the stay?
Right. This is the transition from reactive communication to proactive communication. This is where the true art of travel communication is displayed.
And it has to be framed as a polite request for availability, not a firm demand. ###hey. Strategically requesting a room upgrade.
The core philosophy here must remain consistent. Be polite, positive, and acknowledge that the staff may not be able to accommodate you. You have to use soft, non-confrontational phrasing.
That phrasing is absolutely key. Instead of marching up to the desk and declaring, I want a room with a better view, you frame it as a query.
A query about current availability and possibility.
Right. Something like, I was wondering if perhaps there are any room upgrades available today, or if a room on a higher floor might be free.
That phrasing is perfect.
Hmm.
It acknowledges the possibility of denial, but maintains your interest.
And we must talk about leveraging special occasions.
Oh, this is a big one. The receptionist is a human being. And if you provide them with a genuine emotional reason to expend some discretionary effort on your behalf, they are significantly more inclined to do so.
So mentioning a birthday, an anniversary, or even a milestone trip can make the request much more compelling and memorable.
The suggested phrasing is great because it appeals to their desire to provide excellent hospitality. It's my anniversary weekend, and I'd love to make this day extra special if possible.
That subtly prompts the staff to see how they can contribute to your celebration.
And that might result in an upgrade, a complimentary bottle of wine, or at the very least, a room with a better view.
And if the free complimentary upgrade isn't immediately offered, don't just end the conversation.
No, absolutely not. Always inquire about paid options. Sometimes the difference in rate for a significantly better room, maybe a club-level access room or a junior suite, is entirely manageable.
So you'd ask something like, if there aren't any complimentary upgrades, what are the rates for an upgraded room, perhaps one with a balcony?
Exactly. That question is polite and revenue-friendly. It demonstrates to the hotel that you're a serious, discerning customer interested in their premium offerings.
And they might view you as a better candidate for a free upgrade later, or offer you a highly discounted paid upgrade rate that's way below the advertised price.
Let's delve deep into the key tips for success here, because timing and context are everything. This is where strategic knowledge really pays off.
First, timing absolutely matters. And we need to understand the logistics behind it. Upgrades are vastly more likely during less busy times.
Specifically, the source points to midweek Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or during the official off-season for that location.
And the logic is rooted in revenue management, isn't it?
Completely. If the hotel is 98% full on a Friday night, giving away a deluxe room means losing potential revenue from a last-minute booking.
But on a Tuesday, when they're only at 60% capacity,
Moving you from a standard room to a deluxe room is highly desirable for them. That deluxe room was going to sit empty anyway, so the upgrade costs them nothing. It boosts your satisfaction, and it often makes housekeeping logistics easier by clustering occupied rooms together.
and the reverse is true. Travelers should adjust their expectations if checking in late on a peak Friday or Saturday night or during a big convention weekend.
By then, rooms are locked in. The chance of a strategic upgrade is near zero. Aim for mid-afternoon on a Tuesday or Wednesday.
Secondly, loyalty programs. This is a massive factor.
Huge. Membership? Even the lowest entry-level tier often grants priority for upgrades. If you have any affiliation with the hotel chain, mention it.
Why does that matter so much?
Because the system often flags these memberships, moving you ahead of a non-member for a complimentary move if they have to because they're overbooked.
So loyalty programs are a critical data point for the desk agent. They know a loyal customer is likely to bring repeat business.
Whereas a first-time guest may never return. The upgrade is an investment in your future loyalty.
And finally, the grace factor. This is maybe the most important communication tip of all.
It is, and it's entirely within your control. Be gracious even if they say no. Thanking the staff maintains a positive, open relationship.
Courtesy is always appreciated.
Always. You might not get the upgrade today, but if you treat the staff well, they will remember you for the rest of your stay. And that can often translate into superior service later on, which can be more valuable than just a slightly bigger room. #B. Making specific room and amenity requests.
Beyond the full suite upgrade, hotels aim to accommodate needs that dramatically improve the quality of your stay. Guests should never hesitate to make specific room and amenity requests as long as they are polite.
Right, we're talking about environmental preferences that can really impact your comfort level. For example, if location is important, you should ask, could I have a room on a higher floor with a nice view, if possible?
You're asking for two specific things, height and scenery, and you're qualifying it with, if possible.
Which acknowledges that it depends on their inventory.
Or if your priority is rest, you have to request a quiet room.
You must. I prefer a quiet room away from the elevators and the ice machine. Elevators, vending areas, utility rooms, these are high-traffic, noisy zones.
And the staff knows which rooms are the noisy ones.
They absolutely do. Asking politely enables them to assign you a more peaceful alternative. They might even use one of the less desirable yet quieter corner rooms that might otherwise be assigned to a last-minute walk-in.
And we can't overlook additional amenities. Sometimes comfort is just a simple request away.
Things like, do you offer extra pillows or blankets? I like to sleep with 2 extra pillows. Or the highly useful, especially for long stays, is it possible to have a mini fridge in the room?
The mini fridge request is common and often necessary for guests who travel with medication or specific dietary items.
Right. Most hotels keep a limited inventory of extra mini fridges available for these requests, but they aren't standard in every room type. Asking in advance lets the staff secure one for you before you even arrive.
And there's the pro tip for all these non-upgrade special requests. Make them in advance.
This is absolutely crucial, especially during busy times. It increases the likelihood of accommodation by a significant margin.
If you wait until you arrive at 7 p.m. on a Friday, the quiet rooms, the extra cribs, the spare mini fridges,
They may all be gone, already assigned to guests who planned ahead. Pre-planning allows the hotel staff to log that preference in the system before they start assigning rooms for the day. That simple foresight significantly boosts your chances.
preparation and politeness maximize your chances of a smooth check-in, but despite everyone's best efforts, unexpected situations always arise in travel. This is where your ability to communicate clearly and calmly truly shines. ##A. Handling unexpected situations calmly.
The absolute core requirement is maintaining your composure. When issues arise, a booking error, the room not being ready, a problem with the amenities, you must remain calm and kindly polite.
Losing your temper will never expedite a session.
Never. It only creates resistance and makes the staff less eager to assist you.
Let's walk through the scenarios the source highlights, starting with the delay. What if you arrive having called ahead, but the room still isn't ready? We need a solutions-oriented phrase for that.
Instead of complaining about the wait, you show understanding and immediately seek a temporary solution. I understand the room isn't ready yet. Is there a business center, a lounge, or a luggage storage area I can use while I wait so I can start working?
That communicates patience, it respects the delay, and it focuses on solving your immediate need rather than just dwelling on the inconvenience.
Exactly. And what if you get to the room and discover a genuine problem? Maybe the air conditioning isn't working, the Wi-Fi is broken, or there's a serious cleanliness issue. How do you communicate that efficiently?
You need to be clear and direct, but not confrontational, a two-pronged approach.
Yes. I noticed an issue with the air conditioning in the room. Could you help me resolve it with an engineer? Or, if that's not possible, provide another room.
That dual approach is brilliant because it gives them options. Help me resolve it. Gives them the option of fixing the existing room, which might be faster and easier for them.
But provide another room gives them the immediate alternative if the fix is complex or requires significant downtime.
And if both options are denied, say the hotel is completely full.
This is where the calm escalation begins. You would politely inquire about next steps. For example, I understand the hotel is full, but the air conditioning is not functioning. What is the process for ensuring this issue is addressed? And could I speak with the duty manager regarding compensation for this inconvenience?
You move from resolution to acknowledgement of liability without raising your voice.
The key to success in all troubleshooting scenarios is maintaining that solutions-oriented attitude. Receptionists are inherently more willing and able to assist guests who remain courteous, clearly define the problem, and focus on finding a viable way forward. #BB. Maximizing the stay and expressing gratitude.
Once you're settled in, the conversation with the front desk shouldn't just stop. You should use their knowledge to make the most of your time there.
Exactly. You need to familiarize yourself with the hotel's facilities. Don't be shy about asking specific, detailed questions. Could you tell me about the gym hours and location? Do I need a key card? And is there a weight room?
Or leveraging their crucial local knowledge. Are there any family-run restaurants nearby that you'd recommend that might not show up on the major review sites?
That second question often unlocks hidden gems. The staff lives and works there. They know the genuine local favorites, whereas online reviews are often skewed toward tourist traps.
Asking for a personal recommendation is a compliment, and it often yields a much better dining experience.
Another crucial logistical request, if you need it, is inquiring about late checkout. But you should ask early, ideally the day before departure. Don't wait until the morning you leave.
The phrasing should be direct and acknowledge the potential cost.
Yes. Is it possible to extend my checkout time tomorrow past 11 a.m.? If so, is there an additional fee, perhaps a half-day rate I should be aware of?
That preempts any surprise charges, and it helps the hotel manage its housekeeping schedule for the next wave of guests. It's clean, clear communication.
And we come full circle to gratitude. A simple thank you goes an incredibly long way in building and maintaining that positive relationship.
And using specific phrasing reinforces that appreciation. It makes the staff feel seen and valued for their individual effort.
Something like, "Thank you for taking the time to help me with the check-in process and for finding that quiet room. I really appreciate it." It moves beyond a generic thanks.
And if the stay was truly excellent, the source encourages positive post-stay action.
Consider leaving a genuine positive review online, specifically mentioning staff members who provided exceptional service, or leaving a tip for those who went above and beyond. That feedback loop is important for reinforcing and encouraging good customer service practices. #CC. Final takeaway.
So when we synthesize all these elements, the vocabulary, the preparation, the strategy, the demeanor, what does this all mean for the traveler?
I think it means that checking into a hotel is far more than just a quick transaction to secure a key. It is a calculated opening move that sets a positive, rewarding tone for the entirety of your experience.
The essential ingredients are clear.
Meticulous preparation, clear communication, using precise vocabulary like knowing the difference between a mix-up and being overbooked, and unwavering courtesy, even when faced with unexpected friction.
Mastering this communication ensures a pleasant, efficient, and, as we saw with Mr. Roberts, potentially very rewarding stay. Remember, the staff is there to assist you, and that little bit of respect and strategic knowledge goes the absolute longest way in creating a truly memorable experience. #outro.
Indeed. The knowledge we've distilled today transforms the check-in from a hurried transactional moment into a strategic opportunity that can genuinely elevate your travel experience.
We started this deep dive with that exciting high-reward scenario of Anthony Roberts getting the key card to the presidential suite. We've established that sometimes a logistical mix-up combined with the hotel being overbooked can lead to you being treated like a king.
But the traveler only receives that massive reward if they handle the communication with grace, preparation, and strategic knowledge. The ability to leverage the hotel's liability in an overbooked situation is powerful, but that leverage is always filtered through their revenue management system, which favors long-term value.
So let's leave you with this final provocative thought to mull over, building on the concepts of timing and loyalty programs. Since we know that timing matters upgrades are more likely midweek or off-season, and we know that loyalty members often get priority, we have to consider the long-term calculus of the hotel. How might the hotel's deep reliance on loyalty programs influence their decision to grant a complimentary ultra-premium upgrade to a first-time guest who may or may not return versus a regular lower-tier loyalty member who is known to return every quarter even when the property is significantly overbooked?
That's a great question. It helps you think deeply about the economics of customer retention versus maximizing immediate customer satisfaction through a massive unexpected reward. A first-timer might get the grand presidential suite in an act of necessity, but the long-term loyalty member might get the upgrade that keeps them coming back forever, which is the higher business value.
A great question to consider on your next journey. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into communication mastery at the reception desk. We hope this makes your next check-in your smoothest and most rewarding one yet.